Hey, thanks for joining us here in HitPointsGaming with myself, Chris, and Corey, checking out our PAX Unplugged 2019 coverage. So in this video, we're going to show Amigo. We stopped by, Jeff showed us a ton of games.
It was awesome. I think this is probably one of our best interview. He really took a lot of time with us and showed us a lot of the games that they had at the show. So this is what we're about to jump into. And then at the end, we'll come back and we'll talk about some of the ones that really highlighted for us.
Hi, I'm Jeff from Amigo. Amigo's been around for about 40 years. We launched here in the US 2 years ago, and we picked our games based upon 3 criteria. I had the pleasure of going through Amigo's 1,000+ game archive and used 3 things to figure out which games would be right for this market. The first one is they have to have 5 rules or less. It doesn't apply to everything in the line, but for most of our product line, it only takes 5 rules to learn. And I think that's critical for today's families because people don't have time to invest a lot in learning a new game. You want to play with your kids. So that's number 1. Number 2, they have European quality. So they're made with linen finish on the cards, rounded corners, thicker boxes, whiteboard, all sorts of things you might not notice but matter because we want you to have games that you can hand down to your kids. They also have European quality in terms of the gameplay. So even though they only have 5 rules and they're simple to learn, they're robust, they're interesting, lots of chances for interaction amongst the players. And the last thing is, with one exception, everything in our line retails for $20 and under. So you get European quality, you get simple to learn games that are fast and fun to play, and you don't have to pay a ton of money for them.
That's wonderful. Right? You know what, that's the first time that we've heard, these are the attributes that we want in our game. So we would definitely appreciate that. And you went through like 1,000 games you said to get that. That's wonderful.
I had a little help. We have an editorial department over there, and they kind of, once I gave them some criteria, they knew what we're looking for. But it's worked out really well. We also try and do a smaller footprint on a lot of our boxes. A lot of companies try and make a big box, and we're finding that people are living in smaller and smaller spaces, and their game collections are getting bigger and bigger, right? So we got to get smaller games that we can offer that also gives people the chance to have more games they can play. But ultimately, if you've got a collection already and then suddenly you have a kid and you want to try and bring in a game that you can play with your kid,
very tough.
You're not going to take out your favorite game and toss it away.
I'm going to find that little crevice.
Exactly. I got some place. Let me squeeze this in. Exactly.
Okay,
good. So let's start with Clack.
Okay.
It's a very simple game to learn. This one actually has less than 5 rules. So this is one that we can play. You ready?
I'm ready.
Head to head, okay? We're playing for your firstborn. What do you say?
Oh, let's do it.
Okay, my firstborn's 28, so you can skip the diapers, you can skip the high school years.
Okay, yes.
You want to do it?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, so here we go. All right, so the object of the game is to collect as many discs as you can.
Okay.
I'm going to roll the dice. We get a color and a shape, purple flowers.
Okay.
We are both racing to find purple flowers. When you find a purple flower, use the magnet in the bottom there to pick up any other purple flowers you can find.
I see.
Okay, that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is that white is a wild card. Or when I teach this to kids, I say it's an anything.
Okay.
Okay? That means you can pick up anything purple. Okay?
Makes
if you get a white on this one, you can pick up anything that has a puzzle piece on it. Or anything that has a star on it. The color doesn't matter.
I'm following.
And what do you think happens if you get white and white?
I can pick up anything and anything.
As fast as you can.
Okay.
The smartest player goes first. I'm going to let you go first. Absolutely. I guarantee
you.
it.
Don't know me that much.
Well, that's why I could say that. Green feet, green feet, green feet. There's a green foot. Where's the green foot? You're
now
good.
We're making a mistake.
Then you have to put one back, you cheater.
You
big cheater. Can you believe that guy?
One back.
And I thought we were friends. Suddenly he's cheating on me on the first round. Okay, I got it. Well, no, he was smart. He proved that, right? By cheating, but he got caught and he admitted it. So that was smart.
I'm trying to teach my young one. This is how
there we go. Now, suddenly his values change. Now that he has a kid who's 3 weeks old, suddenly his values change. You probably grew up in a family where the rule was if you cheat and get away with it, it's not cheating. Is that true?
That is true.
Okay, and now it changes because you have a kid. All right, ready to go?
Learning from my mistakes.
Here we go. Green arrows, green arrows. Very good. All right, then gets all the green arrows. Your turn. Anything. Oh my gosh. Dun, 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 dun. So, if you want to work on counting skills, you have your kids count. If not, you just stack them up and see who won. You better call your wife and tell her to bring the kid.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go.
She's not gonna like
I'm going to call my wife and tell her we got a 3-week-year-old. Okay, all right. So.
I don't know who won in that situation.
Yeah, that's funny. That one's called Clack. That's a great game, isn't it?
That's really cool.
Fast, fun, simple, easy to learn.
I like it.
Dynamic, lots going on. Good.
Very smart.
That one's called Clack. We're going to work up in age range. Let's go over here. This one's called Engine number 9. It's called Engine number 9.
Okay.
And this one combines two things, two words I don't usually say in the same sentence, and that's 5-year-old and strategy. Okay, so this is a simple strategy game for 5-year-olds. Okay, so if you're thinking about how you bring along the next generation of gamers, a game like this is a great place to start.
Wonderful.
Okay, so the object of the game is we're going to race to try and get 2 of our 3 trains all the way around the tracks from any of the start spaces to any of the finish spaces.
Okay.
Okay? When we do a game like this, we want the rules to be simple, but we also want to have enough. There's a tripod. I'm not telling. You get in trouble. Sorry, inside joke there, folks. Little inside joke. So you have to get 2 of your 3 trains from any of the start spaces to any of the finish spaces, okay? And we want to have a game that has built-in interaction, so you have teaching moments with your kid, or reason to say, hey, maybe you should try this, or did you think about that? Because there's a little bit of nuance in here that's just right for a 5-year-old.
Okay.
The way it works is this: you roll the dice, you get a color and a number. The color tells you which of the sliders you move, so on every turn, the tracks change. The board changes on every turn. You slide this into the empty spot like that, and then I get to move one of my trains. I'll be blue, 9 spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now it is your turn to roll. And you're going to roll, exactly. You get a color. Whoops, do the other die too.
Oh.
Yellow 9. So we slide the yellow to here, and then you get to move one of your trains 9
Starting
spaces.
From
starting from any start space you like.
Got it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Got it. So one of the neat things about this game is, let's say that I had rolled a 6. Is that 6? Anyway, a number.
And
if I land on here and stay there, if you roll blue, guess what? I go with it. Cool. So that's how I jump ahead.
Okay.
This doesn't help me that much, but let's say this was over here and this would move to there. I'm up near finish.
I like it.
Right? So the other thing you can do is bump trains. So if there's a train ahead of you on the tracks, you can try and bump them. If this weren't here and I bumped you, let's say I rolled a 10 and I was here, 1, 2, you finished my move. 3, 4, 5, 6. You crashed. You have to go back to start.
Wow, that's actually a lot of strategy in this.
It's
cool.
just the right amount for 5-year-olds.
My father
And
actually
more.
builds train sets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like something like this would be right up his alley to teach my little one. This is actually really nice.
Yeah, and the theme is fantastic. It comes with these 12 toy trains.
Okay.
The sliders that you see.
And obviously 4 players here.
Yep, you can play up to 4
Very
players.
Nice. What are these things?
This is an expansion pack that we build in.
Okay.
Quotation marks, expansion pack. These are called repair tokens. So once you've mastered the basic game, you can use the repair tokens, and then it adds one more element of strategy. So once your child has mastered the strategy at 5,
beat you in this
exactly,
whole time.
yeah, exactly.
Or
Or maybe they're 8 years old now and they still want to play.
Okay.
You use these. You don't have, when you have one of these, when you go off the track, you collect one of these. The next time you roll, or whenever you want, you don't have to roll the color die. You get to choose which of these to move. So it adds one extra layer of strategy.
Okay, I'm loving this.
Okay.
This is really nice.
Glad to hear that.
Absolutely.
All right. Next game to take a look at is called LLAMA. This one was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres this year. We did not win. There were 2 other great games in there as well, Just One and Where Words. All 3, any of the 3 could have won. They were fantastic games. The way that this one works is, you want to try and get rid of all of your cards because you want to have the lowest score.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. We'll just show a quick round of how it works. So, oh my gosh, the worst hand ever. Perfect. It's exactly what you want, right? Live. Yes. This is live,
this
folks.
This is what you want.
That's right. So, the way the game works is, the object of the game is to get the lowest score.
Okay.
And the best way to do that is by getting rid of all of your cards.
Okay.
At the end of the round, you're going to score based upon the cards that you still hold. Llamas are worth 10. That's a bad thing. This is worth 5, this is worth 2. There's one little wrinkle on scoring, and that is if you have multiples, more than one of the same card, only one counts against your score.
Okay.
So this is not 47, this is 17.
Okay.
I'm still going to want to try and get rid of those llamas, though,
right.
Okay? Once again, 5 rules or less. There are only 3 things you can do in this game. You can play a card, you can pick a card, or you can quit. Okay? If you want to play a card, you look at the discard pile, and you can play that number or 1 higher. So on this one, I could play a 1, or a
2.
2.
Yes.
Very good. And then it'd be the next player's turn. They can play a 2 or a 3.
So are the numbers up to 9 and then
Numbers
a llama?
are up to 6.
Sorry, 6.
And then a llama. Perfect.
Okay.
Well done.
Okay.
So basically what we're doing is climbing up the mountain, right?
Okay.
We start at 1, that's the lowest level of the mountain, then we go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Llamas play at the top of the mountain.
Makes sense.
Okay, so you can play a llama up at the top of the mountain.
Got
The
it.
llamas can also run down the mountain. They have 4 legs. They can scamper down the mountain. So you can play a 1 on top of a llama. That's how you reset.
I see.
Okay.
Got it.
You play until either all the players have quit or somebody's out of cards,
Okay.
and then you total up the scores.
Now you would quit only because you can't play anything.
You can quit for 2 reasons. One, because you can't play anything,
Okay.
or because you don't want to play anything. Let's say I had 3 2s and a 1. That's only 3 points. I might say, you know what? I'm going to
good.
quit. I'm out. I'm
Right,
done.
okay.
I'll lock it in at 3 points.
Okay,
right?
because I might have 4s and I'm waiting for your 3 to be played.
Exactly.
And I can't.
So you're also watching. It's really interesting. There's a lot of nuance here.
Okay.
You're watching because of this note that you can play a 2 or a 3. I'm watching you while you play. If you hesitate, I
Right.
know you have a 2 and a 3.
Right.
Right?
Which
If
one
you
am I
just
doing?
play right away,
I know you
then
got
I'm
that 3.
guessing,
That's
yeah,
what you had.
got a 3. Boom, you're done. Right?
Okay.
So there's these little nuances that just start to catch on
Sure.
as you play the game.
Okay.
The other neat thing about it is that after you're done, you score. The blacks are worth 10 points,
Okay.
and the whites are worth 1 point.
Okay.
There's one other little wrinkle, and that is if you play all of your cards in a future round, you can give back 1 chip, a black chip or a white chip. So if you want to get the lowest score, what color are you going to give back?
I'm going to give my black
The black
chip.
one, of course,
Yes,
right?
Okay, good.
So that means that if you have only 8 points,
Yes.
you might not want to go out this round. You might want to take 2 more points to get to 10 and then go
then
out in a
go
future
out.
round, right? So there's a lot. It's a simple game, right? Only 3 things you can do,
Yeah.
but lots of strategy, nuance, different levels as well.
Sharp. Okay, I like
Okay?
this.
That one's called Llama.
Okay.
My current favorite is a game called What the Heck. This is one that we play almost every night. It's another fast, simple to learn game. All of these are the same. They are ranked number 1 through 15. So each player takes a hand that has 1 through 15. You play this with 2 to 5 players.
Okay.
These cards go from -5 to +10. -5, wherever the +10. It's in
Sure,
there. We know
it's
it's
in
in
there.
there. All right. So the way it works is I flip over one of these cards. We then select the card from our hands and put it face down in front of us.
Okay.
And we then all reveal our cards at the same time. Pretend somebody played that one.
Sure.
So reveal our cards. If it's a positive number, whoever played the highest card gets that. If it's a negative number, whoever played the lowest card has to take it.
Okay.
The object is to get the most points.
Okay.
So you don't want to take the negatives.
Got it.
Okay? So what you'll find is as the game goes on, you are trying to get inside of somebody's head and figure out what they're going to play.
Right.
And you're bluffing and say, oh, I just played a 6. And then, am I telling the truth? Am I
Yes.
not telling the truth?
Okay.
Right? So now that you're a truth teller, you would of course tell the
Absolutely.
truth
I always
every
have to
time.
tell you.
Every time.
I can't play poker again now.
Exactly.
Thank
You're done.
you.
That's it.
Appreciate
We've
that.
ruined it for you.
That's right.
Here's one other rule. If you play the same card,
Yeah.
we both play 15s, we tie, and that cancels. In a 2-player game,
Okay.
we just keep going.
Play another card
We
each.
flip another card up, and we flip another. We
Oh,
flip
I
another one
see.
of these
No
up,
one
and then add it
claims that.
together. Nobody
Oh.
claims it.
Okay.
And when you have more than 2 players, we would
Oh,
cancel
good.
each other
That
out,
goes
and
to
then
the
the other
next
player
person.
other player wins.
Okay.
So picture that there's a +10 out there. We both play our 15s because that's
Yeah.
the best card.
Right.
This player could take the 10 with
With
a
a
1.
I
Exactly.
see. Okay.
So clever, so simple. It's a game called Holz the Geier in German.
Okay.
Been around for about 30 years, invented by Alex Randolph.
Okay.
First time ever in the United States.
Oh.
Pretty cool. This is one of my favorites.
That's
so
really cool.
if you're super nice to the interview,
Yeah.
you'll take one home with you.
Awesome. This is very
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
Good.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. These are classic games you may know already. Maybe, maybe not. No,
No
thanks. It was called Geschenkt
Okay,
in
yeah,
German.
yeah,
So you're bidding on cards. Show you. The object is to take the lowest points.
Okay.
On each turn you have a choice. You can take the card and you're stuck with that number of points, or you can put a chip on it.
Got it.
We each start with 11 chips, and then we're trying to manage our chips carefully because if you're out of chips, you have to take the card.
Okay.
At the end of the game, you total up the cards you've taken, subtract the chips. Once again, it's a game that has less than 5 rules, but oodles of strategy.
Absolutely.
Take 5 is another one that's been around for a while. This is called Sechs Nimmt in German. I'm getting a couple of nods from the audience out there, so I think some people might know this one. This is a game where, don't need that one. This is a game where you play a card face down. We all play cards face down. We reveal them, and then there are only 2 rules for how the cards are played. The first one is it has to be higher than any of the cards that are in these rows. Okay. And the second rule is it has to be closest in value. So 99 is higher than all of these, but it's closest in value to the 71, so I'd put it there.
Okay.
Okay, but we're all doing it at the same time. So you might think the 99 is going to go there. In fact, the other player might have played the 72, somebody else might have played the 74, so it could be out here. When there are 5 in a row, if you're forced to play the 6 card, you got to take all of those 5.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, you're then saddled with those points. The object of the game, hey there.
Least amount of points.
Yes, exactly, the least amount of points, exactly. So the neat thing about what we've done here is that Take 5 is a game that's, you can play 2 to 10 players, but it sparkles with 4 and up.
Got it.
It's a good game with 2 or 3 players, but a lot of the mechanics, they work, but not as well as we would have wanted. So there's Take a Number, which is designed for 2, 3, or 4 players. So we have added these together in one pack, so you get a bonus game inside.
So how does this change? How does Take a Number change with 2, 3, or 4 players?
So in Take a Number, instead of having 4 rows of 5, you have 3 rows. One has 3, one has 4, one has 5.
Okay.
You also get the chance to add cards back into your hands.
Wow.
And you get a chance to make your own row, so you can avoid taking some of those points.
I see.
So we've taken the same basic gameplay dynamic, those same 2 rules are still at work in terms of how you place the cards, but there's a little bit extra in there that's designed to make it right for 2, 3, or 4 players. So with one box, you have something that takes you from 2 to 4, and then 4 players and up.
Like this, you know,
this
theme or mechanic,
exactly.
really. Hey, I only have 2 players. This is how we're going to play it.
Exactly. And this is invented by Wolfgang Kringemer, who just happens to be the inventor who's won more Spiel des Jahres awards than any other inventor. That one's called Take 5.
Wonderful. You know, the best thing about this is, you know, we're going through all these mechanics, and yeah, the game's for younger, you know, I can teach it really easily, and you said all this mechanics, but this is something that, like, we can get involved in every night. Like you said, you play this every night or whatnot. Yeah, I'm already thinking about the different strategies and whatnot. It's really sharp.
It's neat also, and the other thing that we try and do, and we do this, we've got, these are mostly family games that are out here. We have some kids games in our line as well, where we're always trying to build something in so the kids and parents can compete on equal terms. Typically the parent's going to sandbag a little bit to keep the kid in the game. We're trying to use, it is nice of them. You'll learn that, tactic at some point.
I haven't done that yet.
You got a little time, right? Good. 3 weeks old, you got a little time. But what we're trying to do is build in something that makes that level. So for example, we just did a game called Code Stack. It's a word game that parents and kids can play together. Think about word games. Who wins word games? The person with the biggest vocabulary,
That's right, not
always.
Me. Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're playing with a 5-year-old
or a
7-year-old or a 10-year-old, you crush them, right? I have a 15-year-old stepson. I beat him in Scrabble every night, right? Happily, by the way. I love beating 15-year-olds, but this is a game that we can all play on equal terms because what you're doing is making a word in code that's only 3 letters long or 4 letters long. So it doesn't matter how big your vocabulary is, it's how you decode.
I see.
Exactly. So there are lots of little things that we can slide in there from a gameplay standpoint to give us the opportunity to create games that parents and kids can play on equal terms.
Very cool. I like it.
Saboteur, which is the original card game, has been around for 15 years. And it's a very basic gameplay mechanic. The object of the game is to build an unbroken path from start to gold mines. The catch is that one or more of the players is a saboteur who's trying to prevent you from doing that. So the saboteur wins if you can't make that unbroken path.
So we're talking about a hidden. All right.
Hidden rolls, exactly.
Hidden rolls here.
And the miners, or dwarves, if they're dwarf miners, win if they can make a path to the gold mine. Okay? So the saboteur's trying to mask his or her identity, but he or she will do things like break your pickaxe or smash your lantern or there's a cave in. So all these different things, and they'll be doing it under the guise of it's the only card I can play. It's all I got. Sorry. Exactly. So that's a game that's been around for 15 years. Pretty good, pretty big following. We decided to do the first ever board game version of it. So for people who know Saboteur, this is going to feel familiar, but there's also lots of new stuff in there. So instead of playing individually, and this one you're actually playing, we're split into 2 teams. There's a blue clan and a yellow clan. The twist here is that the Saboteur on the yellow clan is actively helping the blue team, and the Saboteur on the blue team is actively helping the yellow team.
Okay.
So you have a situation where you're trying to figure out which of your partners isn't
Helping that
actually
path.
your partner.
I
Exactly.
see. Okay.
There's also a selfish dwarf. We've added a new character who's only out for him or herself. So that's going to throw doubt onto which of your folks is a saboteur as well.
So now, is that selfish dwarf, is he always in the game? And is he always on one team, or is there a selfish on?
Yeah. So the way it works is you take cards at random to start. You can play from 3 to 9 players.
Okay.
In a 9-player game, every role is filled,
Okay.
and there'll be a selfish dwarf in there.
Got
okay. But in a 3-player game, you may not have a selfish
I
dwarf,
see.
right?
Okay.
So, or you could have a situation where this is kind of nutty. If in a
Okay.
3-player
I think I know
game,
where you're
you know
going
where I'm
with
going with
this.
this?
Yep.
Right, so there's a saboteur on the yellow team who's actually playing for blue.
Blue.
There's a saboteur on blue who's actually playing for yellow. And then there's a selfish dwarf that's only out for
Playing
him
for
or
himself.
herself. So everybody's playing for somebody.
Okay.
It's this nutty dynamic
Okay, cool.
that works really well.
Yeah.
And it works with 3 players all the way up to 9 players. The other thing with this game is that unlike the original where you have to build an unbroken path, in this one you don't care about an unbroken path because there's actually movement in the game. So you're going to build your path, and then you get to move your pieces along the path. You may then throw an obstacle behind you to block the other
it.
team.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay?
Gotcha.
So it'll, as I said, it'll feel familiar. There's enough, it's Saboteur-like,
Okay,
but at the same time, it's new and different, and there's a whole new dynamic for Saboteur fans.
gotcha. Wow, awesome.
Okay.
Now, can I have one question with this?
Of course.
Like, where do you start? Is this your starting spot?
Yeah,
Is
so
your
the
10?
yellow team starts here, the blue team starts here,
Trying
the
to
mines
stick to-
are here,
Okay.
they would be flipped over. One of the mines, by the way, is guarded by a dragon.
Oh,
You don't know which one it is because these are randomly distributed.
okay.
So,
I like it.
it's neat, isn't it?
Very cool, very cool.
Good. On to the next. This one is called Carnival of Monsters. This is the latest game from Richard Garfield.
Okay.
So, the Royal Monsterological Society has 1 slot left. Would you like to join the Royal Monster?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Who
absolutely,
wouldn't?
right? Of course.
Absolutely.
So, you and the other aspiring monstrologists
Okay.
are going to be competing for that last spot in the Royal Monsterological Society.
I've got the best monster, though.
Of course. Yeah. And you may when the game is over. We will
Okay,
find
good.
out. So the way it works is this is a drafting game. So you're going to draft a card, and then you have the choice of either playing or hiding the card that you've drafted.
Okay.
If you hide the card you draft, you have to pay for that privilege. Okay? But what you'll see is that different monsters, sorry, maybe blocking that, different monsters have different values. So as you draft, you have to draft lands as well, and you'll need to have the right number of land points in order to bring in a monster from that land, which I
Okay.
don't happen to have here. But nonetheless, you start with 8 cards, we draft all the way around. One of the neat things about the drafting mechanism, particularly in this game, is that you can play offense, trying to get things that you need, but you can play defense as well. So if I notice that this monster was in there and it's suddenly gone, then I know what you're trying to collect.
Build.
I may then pull something out the next round to thwart you.
I see.
Maybe because I want to win, or maybe just I'm that kind of guy.
Makes sense.
Right?
Like, yeah.
Oh, like him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
He is.
good. He didn't even flinch. He knew
He just knows.
where you're going with
I
that,
know.
didn't he? Exactly. So, the artwork I think is fantastic.
It's really nice.
There's 7 different illustrators involved in the game.
Okay.
One did all of the lands. Another one, each monster comes from a different land. So what the other illustrators did the
Oh, I
monsters
see.
from the different lands,
Nice.
and it's some of the same illustrators that Richard Garfield worked on the original version of Magic.
It's, we're talking about lands. As soon as you said that, swamp, tundra,
Yep.
right away I knew. Okay.
Exactly. So there are 240 cards in the game.
Okay.
You'll use about 100 to 110 depending on how long the game goes.
Okay.
So each game has different monsters in it. You also get the chance to hire staff. Some of these monsters, by the way, are dangerous. Like this one, for example, has 2 danger symbols. So you're going to need some help containing that monster. You probably can't do it
Makes
on your own.
sense.
So you may have to pay to hire a staff member
Okay.
who can help with that. You also have the opportunity to draft a secret objective,
Okay.
which you would look at and keep secret, which is going to add multipliers at the end of the game. So it may look to everybody else like you are flailing and in last place, and then you reveal your secret objective,
doing it on purpose.
and you've won the game, exactly.
Got it.
And you
Now,
can have
said,
multiple secret objectives.
Every round, am I collecting money? Is that how I pay for my?
Yes, so you start with a little bit of money, and then you'll have the opportunity to add more money.
Okay.
As you go, you can get paid for your monsters as you turn them in.
I see.
But more than likely, you may also have to take out loans from time to time.
Okay.
The loans have a premium, though. So if you go up if you haven't paid it off before the game is over, it costs you more at the end of the game.
I see. Okay. I'm assuming I have to pay for it, or else.
You always have to pay. So, at the end of the game, you play 4 seasons. There are 8 season cards in the game. You shuffle those and only play 4.
Okay.
At the end of the 4th season, you total up the points, reveal the secret objectives. Player with the most ones, victory points, gets that last coveted slot in the Royal Monstological Society. Dice. So in order to help keep the monsters in check, you also get some help from the Monstological Society's Royal Hunters.
Oh, good.
So to start with, at the end of each round, you roll the dice. This tells you that you've got 2 points. So that would cover that monster that had 2 damage points.
Okay.
So you're covered. I don't have to pay anything this round.
Got it.
I don't need. You can collect cages. That'll help you as well.
Got it.
But you also may have your staff that can help too.
Sure. They're my union workers that are going to help us out.
Exactly.
I see. Great.
Good.
Very nice.
All right. We got one more to go. Then
Let's
let's
do
have
it.
more questions. One more to go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. Let's XCode. All right. So, how much time do we have left?
To actually play it, maybe?
This is a 3-minute game.
I think we can fit this in.
All right. Would you like to join us? This is your big break.
Let's do
Oh,
it.
you've already played it. Good. So she'll be on our team.
she's gonna
Perfect.
give us-
No. It's the team game.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right. And what's your name?
Amy?
Hi, Amy. I'm Jeff.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. All right. Do you want in too? No. Okay. All right.
I know all these people. So we're
Not ready for Hollywood. Okay. Here we go. So, the object of the game is for us to work together as a team to crack a code.
Okay.
And the way that we crack that code is by collecting 3 of a kind and putting it down on that space on the board. So if you collect 3 ones, you put it on the ones. The ones is locked into the keypad.
Okay.
Okay, and we're all good. We have to cover all 12 spaces to win the game, including the star and how old are you?
Pound sign.
And the pound sign.
Not
Not a hashtag,
stop
the
it.
pound sign or
Yeah.
the number sign. We can go
Or the
even
number
farther
sign.
back than that,
Okay.
right? The number sign, the pound sign, okay?
Stop it.
Or the pound sign, but we only have 3 minutes to do it.
Okay.
Okay? There are 4 things you can do in this game. Put those over there. So, the first thing that you can do, as I mentioned, is if you have 3 of a kind, you can play them on that space. Okay? The second thing you can do is draw more cards. In a game with 3 players, we can hold up to 9 cards in our hands.
Okay.
Okay? The third thing we can do, and this is the most important, is we can trade.
Okay.
Okay? So let's say that you tell me that you have 2 stars. I have a star in my hand.
Yes.
Okay? I'm going to trade this to you. The catch is you can only trade in the direction of the arrows.
I see.
So blue arrows go to the right, yellow arrows go to the left.
Okay.
So you tell me you have 2 stars, I lay that down, you give me something with a yellow arrow on it.
I have to give
You have
something.
to trade. You cannot
Got
pass,
it.
you have
So
to
I would
trade.
give you that.
So you'd lay that down, I pick up the yellow, you pick up the blue, you have 3 stars, you put it down.
Put it down. Got
okay?
it. And how that's done is it's on the table. That's how we
You have to
trade
put it down on the table. That's how I know you want to trade.
I see.
Right?
I see.
But we're talking the whole time.
Okay.
This is all about communication.
Got it.
Okay? So, if that star though had a yellow arrow on it, then I'd have to trade it with Amy, who then has to trade it with
Back
you.
to you. Okay.
In a 3-player game, that's not so bad. This game you can play up to 8 players.
That could take
So
a while.
it could take a little while to get it all the way around the
It's
table.
a horrible telephone game.
Yeah.
Right? Going around.
Exactly right.
Code and time and numbers.
Got it.
I see.
The last thing you can do is you can discard.
Okay.
But if you discard, you have to discard 3 cards at a time.
Wow.
You can't just discard one. So you may have to break up your hand to do it.
So I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
How many cards are in the deck?
There are 56 cards in the deck.
Okay, so if we discard so many,
We can discard
okay, we get
and
it back.
reset.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not a
got
problem.
it. Making sure.
Okay. There are 2 special cards in the game. One is a sand timer. Does anybody have a timer? Well done. If you play this, if you get 3 of those, you can flip over the timer to give us more time.
Okay.
But this is the A team, so I'm hoping we're not going to need it. Okay.
No.
I don't
Okay.
have confidence.
Now the pressure's on. And then also, there's an X.
Yes.
X is a wild card. It can be anything.
I like
It
it.
can be a number. It can be the star or the pound
Pound
sign.
sign.
It can also be sand timer.
Okay, 18 leader right here.
You ready?
I got a question.
But you can't trade X's because they don't have arrows on them.
I was
Yes.
okay, good point.
Yes.
Probably best to save the X's for the end, right? I'm not
Well,
gonna-
here's what's going to happen. We're going to talk as we play,
Yeah.
right? So let's say I have 2 2s and an X. I might say, does anybody have any 2s? If the answer is no, I might go ahead and use it.
Lock
But
it
if you
out.
have a 2, I'm going to wait and let you trade it
Okay.
to get there.
Got it.
We ready? That's
Yeah.
all the rules. Amy, you ready? Okay, so I'm going to flip over the timer. First thing you want to do is start filling out your hand. This is not turn-based. This is freeform.
We can just go up to 9
Just
right
going
away.
for it right away.
Okay.
But tell us what you have as you go, so we know what to trade.
Got it.
Okay, ready, set, go.
Let's do it up. I only have a 2 right now.
Okay, oops, sorry, got a
7.
1 and a 3.
1 and a
0.
4.
You got a 1, all right, let me pass the 1 to you, Amy. Here we
All
go.
mine are the same.
All right, so you got to give me a
2.
blue.
I need 1, 2. Anyone have a 2?
There we go, there's a blue, 8s. I have an 8, I have 2 8s. Anybody have an 8?
No 8.
All right, then I'm going to go ahead and play. I got 2 8s and a wild card, so 8s are done.
7 and a 4.
All
I'm
right,
gonna,
I got a
7
1,
and a
I got a 3, I got a 0.
I got
Threes,
2s. I'm going to put it down with
Need a
wild.
1?
2s, do it.
Lock it.
1, please.
A 1, you need that 1 already? There we go, there's a 1. 7 for me, thank
Who
you.
had 8s? So I need an 8? Oh, the 8s,
8s
are
are
done.
done.
So I can discard this and draw
Yep,
another?
no, you got to discard 3 at a time,
Oh,
remember?
right. We're not discarding just yet.
All right,
4, 2,
so
2, 9. One
I
more
need a
here.
9, anybody?
I've got 6, 7, 0, 3.
I got stars.
Anybody? I got a star for
I
you.
need a star.
Anybody
There you
need
go,
a
there's a
7?
star.
Right, and I come back to you with an 8.
Perfect.
Okay, eventually.
8s. Did you
I'll
need
put
the
this
8,
down.
Amy?
No, I need a 9.
A 9,
Anybody
okay.
need a 2, 7, or 6?
I got a 7.
I got
you
a
got
6.
7, right?
I have a. Can you bring me a 6 or a 7?
I can give you a 6.
Perfect. I'll give you an 8 for a 6.
I can give you a 6.
Alrighty, that's good
Anybody have a
job. There's a 0. So now we got
Alright.
6s done.
Amy, you got a
1,
0 for me?
2,
No, I do not.
3.
I got a 7 I can give you. I think you need
Okay,
a
I'll bring a 7. Yes,
7.
that's for
You need
you.
a 7?
Perfect.
You got another 7? Yeah, perfect. You got to go that way though, right? That's
What do you
okay.
need? What do you need?
I need to give him a
There you go.
7.
3.
All right, we're fine on
There.
time. We're in good
7.
shape. There's a 7.
Time.
3 7s are down. Pick some more cards.
Don't worry, I got a backup plan
4.
if needed.
I need a 9. Anybody have a
Does
9?
anybody have timers?
I'm set with timer.
Good. Okay, so we do not need to collect
zeros.
timers.
I can
3,
use
6,
any
7, 8,
zeros.
9. All right, so I've got 2 pound signs.
I
Anybody
got
have a
1
pound sign?
sign.
All right.
I got to go this way though.
Oh, that's fine. Take it around.
Give me anything. Any yellow. Perfect.
There you go. Pound sign, pound sign, pound sign. Anybody have a 5?
Discarding these.
I do. Ready for
Wow,
you. Right
every
here.
time I need it, you've got it. That's
I'm ready. That's
incredible.
what I'm doing.
What a team.
Perfect.
5,
Oh my goodness.
5, 5. How about 3s? Anybody have a 3?
No 3s.
I have 3.
Whoops, sorry.
9's going down.
9s are down.
I got a
All
0
right, so if you
anyone?
pass me that 3, hold on a second, I got to draw more. Here we go. Okay.
Yes, I can.
Yep.
This goes to you. 3
Okay.
goes to you.
All right, we're going backwards, but that's okay.
Okay.
That's all right. 3, 3. I got a wild card. There are the 3s. Okay. No, we have time. We have lots of time.
We got plenty of
We're
time.
good. You bet. All we need is a 4.
I need a 4.
We got it. I have 2 wild cards. If you can get me a 4, we can win the game.
I do not.
Pass one this way. All right. There's that. A 4, an X, an
I'm
X.
playing the timer.
We did it. We did
got
it. We're done.
zeros.
Oh, we zeros. Ah, sorry. I
I
missed
put
the
that.
zeros.
I got just. I just.
I would've
need
saved
1
those
0.
wild cards
You
then.
got it right there.
I got a 0. You need it?
Yes.
Okay, it's got to go to Amy. Amy, there's a 0. Give us a blue. There we go.
There you go.
Pass it
There
around.
you go.
I
Excellent.
totally missed those zeros. Now
we
we did
go.
it. We were so close.
job.
Gentle, thank you. She's got a little brace on her
Oh,
wrist.
good call. I'm like, oh no. Time.
So
Very
that's
cool.
called XCode. That's level 1.
Level 1 with 3 people, the easiest.
There are 10 levels in the game. Each one gets more challenging than the one before it. So in level 2, we're going to pull out some of the wild cards and the timers. Level
Okay.
3, we pull out all the wild cards. Level 4, you have to get 4 of a kind. Then you crack open the seal
Okay.
on box 2 that has 3 more missions in there. Do you want to know what's inside?
I do.
I can't tell you. It's top secret.
Oh my goodness. Can I have a hint?
Okay, there's a hint. So you might, for example, have to play in a certain order. So you might have to have a code that you actually have to follow in terms of the numerical
Like
order.
2,
You have to play the
9,
1 before you
7.
can play the 5,
Wow.
before you can play the 6.
Okay.
There might be another round where one player can't speak. Could be another round where somebody gets to lay out their cards so they can see it. Another one where you actually have to pass all your cards. You hit this card flips over, you got to give all your blues to the player on one side and all your yellows to the player on the other. So your
Okay.
hand gets completely shuffled.
So by us winning this really means nothing. This just taught us how to play the game.
Exactly. This is kind of the starter point, and then we build up from there.
Got it. Very
But
sharp.
we did pretty well. We almost beat the 3-minute mark, which is
Yes.
really good.
Yes. Someone
We
forgot
came
zeros,
really
but that's
close. I
okay.
know. You're right. It was totally my fault.
We had backups.
Yeah, that was totally my fault, right?
Yeah,
Because I had
backups
2
though.
wild cards. If I had held on to one of those wild cards, would have had the zeros in
Sure.
time. So
Very nice. This is great
mea
to play.
culpa. It's fun though, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. It's also designed to bring people together. That's what it's all about,
Good.
right? Is the communication, the talking. So many people spend so much time on screens these days.
Tell us
right?
about it. Yeah.
That you want families to have some family time together, right? And this is a great way to do that.
And teaching what a pound sign is.
Exactly, or a number sign, depending on how old school you want to go.
That's right. Very cool.
Yeah.
Jeff, I appreciate this.
My
This is
pleasure.
really
Thanks so
helpful.
much. Amy, thanks for joining us.
This is great.
All right, so as you can see, there's a ton of games that we saw at this booth here. One of my favorites, which we did end up picking up a copy from them, is What the Heck. So you should be able to see this on Friday Night Lights in the next couple weeks. This is a really cool, like, fun-looking card
I thought
game.
so, definitely. Have you ever given any thought to your Friday Night Lights to have more than 2 people?
No.
Because I see a lot of the games, you know, that you play, it's designed for 2 and more. But I do like how you still play it with 2 players.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't have that ability to have 3, 4, 5 people all the time, which is why I really like that series.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to highlight how this game works out.
That's what's kind of neat, too, because I think, like you're saying, a lot of people only have themselves and their significant other or a friend.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have a ton of people. So I like seeing games the way I'm going to play them. So I'm going to play this with 2 players, you know, so I think there's many people out there who are going to have just 2 players.
Got it.
So yeah, but I would love to have, we were talking about maybe, you know, in a future video, but, you know, like Villainous having a 4-player Friday Night Lights kind of
Right.
thing, you know, so.
Oh, okay.
So
I
anyway,
didn't hear that.
I can't wait to check this out. This was one of the more, this was a game I was really interested in card-wise. The other game I was interested in, and then I really liked, was Saboteur. It's an older game, the card game, and I've heard about Saboteur, but having it out as a board game.
Okay, I felt like a fool because when I first saw it, I thought it looked like Stratego, and Jeff was very nice because it's nothing like Stratego.
Yeah.
Just the board looked like that, but after seeing it and this twist to it, looked really cool.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that Camelot game that you have, where like you have one person that's a trader.
Oh,
You know, but
okay.
like a little different too, because you have that dwarf that can be on for the other team, and the one dwarf who's just by himself. You know, that sounds really cool. But I don't think that would be that's not a 2-player game.
Right. The more people for that type of game, the better.
Right. That was another one I really liked.
I want to take a minute to talk about the one with the phone, the pound
XCode.
hashtag XCode. I thought it was, as we were playing it, fairly simple. You know, here we go. I think it's because we did a really good job with Amy, myself, and Jeff. I think we did it really good, and of course that would scale a little bit harder with the more players you have. Until at the end when Jeff said, "Okay, this is the easiest difficulty." I'm like, "Oh yeah," because I could have flipped the timer like 2 or 3 times. I'm very intrigued on what could get added to it and increase the difficulty. Really cool game, and I will say, a lot of these games were obviously for the younger side, but it was good to see how the different elements that they put into their games, you know, the 3 different steps of what they like to include. I thought that was really great.
He sold that to me.
Yeah.
You know, like I really am looking forward to playing Amigo games when my kid gets a little older, you know? Like he was like 3 simple rules, the 5 rules to the game, 3 things we follow. It was like,
Makes
simple.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I haven't heard that from another, you know, developer or anything like
Yeah.
that. The game for me, though, that Jeff explained, was Engine number 9.
Okay.
As soon as I saw this, I was very, very excited about it. He went over the different strategy. Like, this is how you would teach your young one strategy. I like it right away.
Okay.
So I got this for my daughter. I'll hide this
In
away.
5 more years, yeah.
When she's 2.5, I will start teaching this to her.
Good luck.
Her grandfather will, because he is a huge
Right.
train model builder. So definitely got a copy of this. So very excited. So yeah, that was our preview run through of Amigo. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time,
Yes.
walking through that with us, and we are very interested in all these games.